Violent crime in Minnesota remains significantly elevated due to the lingering effects of the summer 2020 riots, in addition to the prosecution's refusal to hold criminals accountable.
House Republicans are pummeling former congressman-turned-presidential running mate Governor Tim Walz over his handling of Minneapolis-St. Paul riots that racked the state in 2020 and have had a reeling impact on the state in the years since.
Tim Walz's record on crime has left Minnesota in crisis. During his tenure, the state has become a place where criminals run free, where law enforcement is assailed, and where families are without the safety and security they deserve.
Jim Schultz, president of the Minnesota Private Business Council, said the decline began in 2020 when the police killing of George Floyd, a black man, led to protests and riots in the streets that lasted weeks.
As governor, Tim Walz refused to deploy the National Guard for days, allowing violence to escalate unchecked. While flames engulfed his cities, Walz twiddled his thumbs. By the time he finally acted, Minneapolis suffered over $500 million in damage, and his inaction inspired violence across the country.
According to Representative Andy Biggs, chairman of the Judiciary Subcommittee on Crime and Federal Government Surveillance, the 2020 riots resulted in 1,500 businesses vandalized, looted, and damaged in Minneapolis-St. Paul area, an $8 million deduction in Metropolitan Police funding, and 67 buildings destroyed by the fires. Brian Ingram, founder and CEO of Purpose Driven Restaurants in Minnesota, also testified about how he has been affected by crime.
I moved to Minnesota in 2012 from New York. In those first 5 or 6 years, I had one burglary that happened. Since 2019 and beyond, I know we're north of 12 burglaries. I cannot tell you how many incidences at one of our restaurants in downtown St. Paul that we've had overdoses, that we've had people on our patios overturning them. I can't tell you how many times we've seen violent acts taking place in our restaurants.
Schultz said businesses in the Twin Cities have closed left and right due to break-ins, theft, and vandalism that often results in drop charges or a plea deal for the suspect.
Large parts of Minneapolis and St. Paul, after decades of successful growth and investment, have become ghost towns, substantially driven by violent crime. Once a powerhouse renowned for generating companies like Target and Best Buy and General Mills, Minnesota now boasts the distinction of having the 6th slowest growing economy in the entire nation.
Schultz pointed to Walz for not stopping the Minnesota Freedom Fund as it fundraised $40 million that was used to bail out suspected criminals.
Thanks to Kamala Harris's favorite charity and Walz's tacit endorsement, violent offenders have received get-out-of-jail-free cards, and Minnesotans have paid the price with their lives.
However, preliminary state data released in January concluded statewide crime was down across the board in 2023, including homicide, car theft, larceny, and rape. Representative Lucy Macbeth defended Democratic lawmakers and the White House's record addressing crime.
Over the last 4 years, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and congressional Democrats have acted time and time again to invest in law enforcement, prevent crime, and make sure that those who commit these crimes are held accountable.
Even so, those actions followed months-long calls by Democrats in 2020 to defund the police amid the 2020 killing of Floyd.